Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dropping Give Me 20 with Phil Risden. I am Phil Risden, and we got one of my good friends, an old comedy buddy, a recent fucking content creation phenomenon, Mr. Moxy Approved. Give it up for him.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know about phenomenon, but you know, we moving some things over here, man.
How you feeling, bro? How you feeling?
Man, I feel blessed, man. You know, got a lot of work to do. You know what I mean? Still got a lot of movement I got to make, man. But I feel blessed by the Most High. Feel blessed.
Nice, man. I also too, I want to like kind of just applaud you on your work, because number one, we kind of started YouTube stuff at the same time, but I gotta admit, the way you kind of took to it, you really kind of like took off. Like, you went really hard at it. I was somebody who now I'm starting to see the light of all that type of stuff, but for a long time I was still just in the mind of a stand-up comedian, you know? So it's like I'm putting out 2 videos 1 week and then going 2 weeks without a video, and then, you know, and all that type of shit. Now I remember every single time, you know what I mean, I would kind of see you just kind of keep going, and it always like worked out. You almost like, you ever see one of those movies where it's like they have a little poor kid and it's like cold outside and shit, and this nigga's looking through the window, it's mad warm and they got the food and shit? That was me watching you. I'm like, this nigga is living. He's got turkey dinners out here.
I'm close to 400 videos on there, man. It ain't it wasn't easy, man. And like I said, I still got a lot of work to do. And it's like, I'm one of those Negroes, man. We ain't never happy. You know what I mean? We ain't never happy. I remember when I only had like 200 subs, and I was like, man, fuck this shit, man. I can't wait till I get 1,000 subs. You know what I mean? I got 1,000 subs. It's like, man, this ain't enough, man. I'm about ready to quit. I need 5,000 subs. I got 5,000 subs, and I'm like, all right, whatever with this shit, man. It ain't what I was expecting, man. I need 10,000 subs. I got 10,000 subs now. Now I'm starting to be like, man, this is lightweight. You know what I mean? I want 50,000 subs, you know? So you just giving myself more and more goals, man.
But that's how it is, though. I think that's how any like driven person is supposed to be. You feel me? Like, you know, whether it's comedy, whether it's film, whether it's, you know, YouTube videos and shit like that. You know, I remember when I wrote my first 5 minutes of comedy, or I produced shows and stuff. And, you know, I'd be happy if I got like 5 people. Right. You know what I mean? And then, you know, then you get 5 people consistently, and you're like, nigga, this isn't shit. You start getting like depressed. Like, you're like, what am I doing? Where's my life going? I only have 5 people. Nigga, that made you happy yesterday. You know what I mean? And it's all about the building. It's all about kind of just slowly going for things. And that's one of the things I definitely admire about you, and also kind of what you're doing for the culture. And I'll admit it, we've talked about this before, about how, you were kind of, starting off with your stuff, and I was a little skeptical about it, and everything, but I've seen you kind of win over the public with it, and it's definitely fucking cool. I know you're kind of drifting away from this stuff, but you started in the manosphere, right? Kind of in that red pill kind of area. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know what? I know I'm in the right sector of YouTube, because it's like me personally. I know when I'm in the right place, because I start seeing things and I start thinking ahead of time on things. So yeah, I started off making some red pill videos, manosphere videos. For those y'all don't know, it's just pretty much guys where we just smashing chicks with no, red pill. We just smashing chicks with no kind of plan at all to get married or even have a girlfriend, if you will. But what I started to see is the bitterness it was driving men to. And I like to be optimistic. I come from one of the most poorest cities in America, and it's like I would have never made it out there if I wasn't optimistic. And one thing I know about red pill, because there's a part of it that is insecure, where you feel like you'll never find this type woman and that type woman because of how American culture may be. And that may be true. But if you always stay looking at it like that, that's going to spill into other parts of your life.
Absolutely.
So Yeah, I don't, it's good stuff about the red pill manosphere that'll always stay with me. Like right now, I ain't got no problem telling you I'm not even really smashing at too many chicks. I don't have that much time. I'm focusing on I got a lot of shit going on. Right.
You're working.
Right.
And I think it's kind of funny you kind of brought up that whole aspect of that kind of side of the internet of saying like if that's where you put your mindset about women and shit like that, then you're not really going to attract those types of women and you're not going to find the right ones, because I watch a lot of podcasts on YouTube and stuff like that. And recently, this is a couple weeks old, but Fresh and Fit got into a little bit of trouble, kind of talking about like black women and shit like that. And I watched kind of their rebuttal on Flagrant 2 with Andrew Schultz and, Akash Singh. And, I'm not the biggest fan of Andrew Schultz, but one point he kind of did have was he was like, yes, he's like, I understand the need for you guys and everything, but if you keep on kind of only categorizing women as like only the gold diggers, only like there are plenty of women that exist like that, but you spend your time only looking for those, like you could do a lot more to like aid men. You know what I mean?
Right.
You could teach men how to deal with women that are good women, but maybe have a few flaws themselves and shit like that. You know what I mean?
That's very true. The thing about that is I'm starting to really see like how YouTube works. You constantly learning while you're on there.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm learning, not saying that this is a reason that Fresh and Fit said that, but they knew what they was doing when they said that. They knew when they said that it was going to catch online. And see, when you do that, it's like a cycle. It's like, okay, it's a few YouTubers that I can tell you that have mastered this. And it's like they say something shock value that, it catches.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a group of people that's going to eat off of that speaking against it.
Definitely.
And then there's going to be a group of people that's going to eat off of it reacting to it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And that's all free promotion for them.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying that they truly don't feel like that. I could see that being something that they real with. Because, LA was like that. I met a lot of there's a lot of black men that look like me that don't like black women, and I understand it. That's not me. I like all women.
Yeah.
But I understand, like, certain reasons why someone want to be like that. And some of it is self-hate. Like one of those guys I think is it Fresh? That's the dark-skinned
he's like African dude.
The tar-looking motherfucker. Like
that nigga is dark. I know, and he's talking that way.
Right.
And talking about dark-skinned women. It's like, nigga, what do you think you look like?
Right.
It's definitely, I think there's a definite root of like self-hate within that, especially, I'm not talking for everybody, but especially like for those guys, it seemed like a little bit like that. And also too, like speaking as somebody who is raised around like a lot of white people and shit like that, if you're raised around those types of people and shit like that, maybe you were teased about certain things and shit like that, you feel bad about it. To you, black might not mean everything that it means to everybody else. To you, black could just purely mean lesser. Like you could have really fell for the okie doke. You know what I mean?
That is the truth.
Subliminally.
I'll just be real about it. They're both black women, and let's just take black women, white women, Asian women. All of their cultures are different.
Yes.
It's just that because of American culture, it makes certain people think that, white women and Asian women's culture are better than black women's culture.
Yes.
But especially white women, I'm not going to say Asian women. There's a lot of people that's not attracted to Asian women. I'm just going to be real with you. Like,
really?
Right. Like,
I don't know. I've never met somebody who wasn't attracted to Asian women.
You go on YouTube, you'll hear, this is one guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he says they all look a little autistic to him. You hear stuff like that on YouTube. But
speaking of, go on, finish.
White women, they, people may think their culture is better, but when you really look at white women, they're doing everything they can do to be like black women.
Well, that's the thing. It's like you want to talk about people think white women's culture is better, but it's like the culture of white people is just stealing other people's cultures.
They're getting the lip shots.
You know what I mean? And all that shit.
They get
like,
tans.
What are the fucking Kardashians? They're literally built in a lab. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? To look more exotic.
Like a black woman.
Yes,
with the body shape.
Yes.
Like features of black women that I grew up that white women were saying that they didn't like you
now
got
they
these
all
big
have
lips. You know, now that you will call them thick, and they be like, "Oh, you trying to say I'm fat?"
Yes. If you said a girl had a fat ass back in the day,
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like now they're doing everything they can to be a black woman without saying I'm a black woman.
Yes,
none of them
absolutely.
wants to be the color it is. None of them want to be pale.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They all are trying to shade they shit in some type of way. And really, what this is just people just being caught up in the matrix.
I think so too.
They can't even think for themselves. You know.
Yeah.
You meet a woman from overseas, and they'll only fuck with you for 6 months, and it's like, if he doesn't propose to me, then I'm just gonna move on. He wasted my time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's absolutely true, man. I mean, I've talked to different women like overseas and shit too, and that's a big thing where it's like a lot of them, even in like Western Europe and shit, like a lot of them are still kind of stuck in more traditional kind of like family roles in the sense of like getting married young and all that type of shit. Like even if they have a job, still being the one who like cooks and cleans at the house and shit like that. You know what I mean? And you know, which I don't see any problem with it, but it's just a total different thing than over here.
It's totally different, and I don't know if you want to go down that route on this podcast, but I'll just tell you, you'll ask a girl 23, 24, you know, if she was thinking about getting married, and then she'll tell you, no, I need some more time to figure myself out.
Oh yeah,
and that means I want to fuck more people.
Oh yeah,
I'm not quite ready. Like,
meanwhile, you go to fucking like Latvia or some shit, and there's a chick married at 18 who already has like 2 kids.
Right, and these women here will look down on it, but at 29, 30, they'll be begging for somebody to marry them, and it's like me. Let me shut my mouth.
But you know, you know,
let me
but that's what it is. It is what it is. Well, let's change the subject.
Right. I told you, I don't want to go down that route, man.
All right, so break down kind of how you really started like popping in this game, because I remember you kind of starting with different videos and shit, and then kind of the Kwame Brown thing kind of helped out,
right?
You know,
I'm gonna tell you like this. You are very right about Kwame Brown. Actually, the funniest part about it is my most popping videos on my algorithm is Hassan Campbell videos. Like,
well, I was gonna talk about that. So elaborate more on the Hassan like Campbell shit. I know you guys were kind of going back and forth a little bit.
He mentioned me one time. He showed my picture. He don't want to mention my name. Then that was it. I took it and ran with it after that. But you know, my page is pretty much about you could just look at me. I'm unapologetically black.
Yeah.
I basically said, fuck y'all. I'm just gonna be who I want to be. And it shouldn't be a problem to the society, but it is in certain aspects. Definitely with Hollywood. It's a problem. Just me looking like this and being like this.
Yeah.
Like, it's a problem. And YouTube is opposite of Hollywood.
Gotcha.
YouTube is all about authenticity. So to get to Hassan Campbell, you know, I'm very cool with Kwame Brown. Okay. And if you want to relate it to comedy, it's very similar to comedy, where, you know, I never asked for Kwame Brown to share any of my videos. It's just that I really, if you want to talk about like his comedy, I really enjoyed his style of what he was doing on YouTube. So I would cover some of his videos and just give my honest opinion. Yeah. And he started sharing my videos, and it really started to look out for me. So I saw out of nowhere, Hassan Campbell really started dogging him out, and there was really no reason behind it. Yeah. And the thing about Hassan Campbell is he comes after, you know, my page is about FBA mostly, and ADOS. And what that is foundational Black American. ADOS is American Descendants of Slavery. It's not disrespect to Latinos. It's not disrespect to West Indian blacks or Africans. Yeah.
Sorry, hold on. I want to say FBA is what?
Foundational Black American.
Foundational Black American.
Right.
So how does that, and just asking with the acronym, because I watched the video, but I didn't see everything about it. Like, what are the differences between those two, ADOS and FBA?
They're the same.
Okay.
I kind of, you know, everybody kind of like, including me, kind of am careful with the FBA because Tariq Nasheed has that patented, you know, that's his patented.
Oh,
thing.
Okay.
You know, so I would never like make any merchandise or anything off of it. But I think it was genius because, for one, you know, if there's ever a chance for us to get reparations, that has to exist. Like and what it basically is, it's the same thing. What it basically is people who bloodline and family line goes back all the way back to, you know, the 1800s, 1700s, if you will, slavery time that literally actually helped build this country.
Absolutely.
And it was created more for the reparations, but it becomes very helpful because, all right, when I was in Los Angeles, there wasn't too many Africans over there. Or if you want to say West Indians, right?
Yeah.
I haven't had too many problems with West Indians. I must say it. It's probably because of my hairstyle. I haven't had too much.
Well, I think
problems.
also too, like if you want to bring up West Indian, because my whole family is Jamaican and shit like that. I think a lot of their views like stem from kind of Marcus Garvey type shit,
right?
Rastafarian type shit. So they respect like the African like diaspora, no matter what it is,
right?
Whether it's just African people born and raised there, other West Indian people, or American Black people. You know, there's still definitely some like classism. Like you have that family member or something might talk about like how African Americans or something might be a little lazier or something like that. But for the most part, as like the cultural whole, it's definitely like, team Black, no matter what it is.
And see, that's what I'm saying. I don't really get that. Like I stayed in Flatbush and I had a wonderful time there. I ain't gonna say wonderful, but you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of exaggerated. That's why I got out. I'm not gonna say wonderful, but it was a pretty cool time there. They used to call me Rasta. It was mostly West Indians. They called me Rasta. I learned a lot over there. But since I moved to New York, I really have met a lot of Africans that have a problem with us.
Definitely, I would say that's a big issue. I think with a lot of African people, like especially like fresh like African immigrants, like just moved here in the last few years and shit like that. Because I think they look at American Black people, no matter where their lineage is. Like, you know what I mean? They see me, my family's from Jamaica, but they wouldn't really see a difference. They just kind of look at you as an American who happens to be Black. Right. So they look at all Americans as people who squandered their Americanness. You know what I mean? The right to be here and that shit. So they come here and they're like, I don't care what I got to do. I'm just going to try to make shit better and fuck these niggas.
Well, they think they're at competition with us.
Yes.
And it's like.
Yes, directly.
I'm not in no competition with none of them cats. And they feel like they don't understand if it wasn't for us, there'd be no chance of them coming over here.
Oh, yeah. And they'll give you the most trouble out of everybody. Like when it comes to like, authority roles and shit. Because I used to do like deliveries and everything like that. And, there's always some like African dude who's like the security guard or the doorman or something like that, for the service entrances. And, let's say a Hispanic dude, even like a Mexican guy or even like a white guy wants to deliver some shit, it's fine. A Black dude, I walk in, I got to give this nigga my license. He has to look at it and shit. Fucking like.
Delivering DoorDash?
Oh, yeah. Because certain places, I would deliver at like luxury.
Oh, you talking about the restaurant will go there and be like out of.
Nah. Like I would pick up food and then I go drop it off at an apartment building. Because they're like, some of the places I did were like, they have a separate service entrance.
Right.
So sometimes you would have to sign your name for them to sign you in and shit like that. And yeah, I've had some times where they would like, they didn't ask one dude for the license, but they asked me to leave my license here. And I was like, no.
My license there and the food there too.
Yeah. As soon as they did that, I just dropped the food. Yeah, I was like, tell them to come in. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. But the fact that they did that just resonated with me.
Right.
And it was like, oh, wow, this is really how it is,
Well, first
that's not every African though.
Yeah, I was want to say that. It's like dozens. It's dozens of countries in Africa. So I don't want to say
I'm not trying to say every
Africa.
I'm not saying every African.
I'm gonna say the Nigerians in particular can be kind of hostile towards you. I have no problem saying that.
Really, you think so?
Well, I know people like to be offended. They find ways to be offended, and like we don't have like someone like myself. I can't be offended. So. Whenever you get a chance, if you're watching this or whatever, just Google "stay away from the Akata," A-K-A-T-A, Akata. It's a term that they have in Nigeria that's straight up about African American Black males that we're just lazy, we're drug dealers, we're horrible, stay away from us. And they come over here, they talk a lot of stuff. They really haven't, and it's not all Nigerians. It's the ones that feel this way. And I'm pretty sure majority of my Nigerians have heard this word and knows what it means. So I don't really care at that point.
You're just I have things that exist.
Right. And the thing about them is, and others like them, they come over here like they've caused some big wave in America. And it's like, you're just an Uber driver. You know what I mean? Like, I've not met none of these cats over here really splurging or nothing like that. Like they come over here and drive Uber or something like that. And it's like, yeah, we made it here and y'all lazy. And it's like, man, just take me to my destination and shut the fuck up.
I'm just trying to chill.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't go to their countries acting like this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't disrespect Africa and it's like, all they got over there is goats. I know Africa is the most plentiful place with like resources and
Yes,
stuff.
absolutely.
You know?
And in fact, you're talking about, I don't go over there and, talk shit. Have you ever thought about maybe like moving to Africa or at least like vacationing there? Have you ever been?
No, I want to go to Senegal. I got a homegirl from Brooklyn that's over there now living a good life. And I'm pretty sure the next year or so I'm gonna go over there. I don't like the plane flights overseas, but it's like this next year and some change. I'm going to Thailand near the end of this year, so I'll be going there very soon to Senegal. But there are certain places in Africa, Egypt, that I always wanted to visit. That in this next year, I'm definitely gonna go out there and visit.
Well, there's some pretty cool spots, especially what's going on with Africa right now, is because it's kind of number one, there's a lot of like tech people going out there. And because it's an opening market right now, like there's different regions that never had electricity ever that are now starting to get electricity. And honestly, within the next 20 years, it's going to be a fucking gold mine of just new people and new markets for different people and investors to take advantage of. Whether or not those investors and people will be African people is a whole different story. And I think, well, yes, China damn near owns half that fucking continent right now. They're taking so much shit. And what is it? The shit they make the iPhone screens out of and all that shit.
Yeah.
Digging for that shit. And
they're becoming scary because the thing about it is the Africans, rightfully so, don't really mess with the white Americans that much.
Yeah.
And that's the next, what you're saying is correct. That's the next wave of society, of tech and stuff like that. And China's getting a good grip on there. Some of them countries got good deals with China, and some of them countries China's just messing over. But America is going to end up losing out on that. And once America loses the #1 spot, they'll never get it back.
Yeah.
They'll never get it back.
And that's the one thing I think you're right. I think not trusting in Africa and what it can really become is going to be definitely like the nail in the coffin. The coffin's already almost shut anyway. You know what I mean? But I think in the next like 50 years, I mean, it could be an even smaller margin than that. But I think that's going to be a very, very big problem. But there's a lot of interesting things happening over there. Akon is trying to make like multiple cities. He's brought electricity to a bunch of different areas in Africa as well too. And I've had family that have like went over there and shit. Not too many, but like have went over there on vacation and everything. And even Ghana is offering Americans, Black Americans specifically, money to move there.
Word?
Yes, they are.
I might look. Next major war,
land too.
And land?
Yes.
The next major war that's coming here, it's gonna be deadly. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I actually, want to move out of America. Not maybe in these next couple months, but soon.
Well, when you say war, though, what type of war do you think it would be? Because there's the one thing. I think a main thing about America and a main reason why they will never get rid of the Second Amendment or even put different reviews on it and everything and put different stipulations on it is because they know how the American government knows how risky and how reckless they can act with other people and how they bully other countries. So what they do is they allow everyone who lives here to be fully armed so that if we were ever invaded, we would have the army, but like there would be no running in random niggas' houses and shooting all the wives and children when half the niggas got guns.
Sir, this is all a setup, man.
Yeah, I think it's true. They're building your own infantry without even fucking knowing it.
We're building your own enemies and not knowing it. See, it's diabolical. No one this is not our world. This is the world's world.
Hold it a little higher.
This is not our world. This is the earth. The earth belongs to the earth.
Yeah.
It's not ours as much as we would like to make it to be, but there's not one country that ever could be so great where they can't be taken down. Yeah. Yes, it's very hard to invade us. Yes, people are not going to come here and invade us. You know who's going to end up invading us? We're going to invade ourselves. China has a weapon, man. And once again, you can Google this, and this is some of the stuff I talk about on my page. China has a weapon. It's called an EMP. Okay? They have hypersonic missiles that we cannot stop. They just put that out there a couple months ago. All it takes is them to attach an EMP to a hypersonic missile. That bad boy can blast over Wisconsin. Can't stop it. It puts out an electromagnetic pulse that destroys all electronics. It can do it from Wisconsin and goes to both coasts, all the way up to Canada. And for us to rebuild the grid, it takes at least 5 to 10 years.
Oh,
In
wow.
that first year, with no electricity here, sir, with all those weapons that you talking about, America will invade itself.
Yeah, yeah.
It's diabolical, dude.
But my question with that is, now with that, do you think America is trying to build any sort of safety measures for that? Because it's like, if you know about it, obviously the niggas and the CIA and the fucking NSA and everything know about it. Do you think, like, I don't know, how deep does this fucking rabbit hole go?
2024, they said we'll be ready. Trump actually put a lot of money into it.
Okay.
He put a lot of money into it. And he said it won't be ready till 2024.
Wow, why would they give these niggas the date?
Well, you want to know what they did?
Crazy idea.
You know what they did?
Yeah.
They hacked our stuff and beat us to it. And they did the same thing with the hypersonic missile. America was trying to do the hypersonic missile and it wouldn't work. But they had the answer of how it could work. So, but the thing with China is you could look this up. They own the majority of the world's electrical grids. It's made with Chinese products, including this country.
Yeah.
So they know stuff to knock it right on out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As much as we would like to think that we're the greatest and the baddest country and can't no one do anything, that is not true. And it's like, not only that, some people don't believe in karma. I do believe in karma. And there's a lot of things here that happen that are wrong that really has not been an effort to correct it or fix it.
That's a fact. I mean, I think it's also too, it's the capitalism that will be the death of us. And I speak of that as somebody who, I actually do believe in capitalism somewhat. I'm more of a mix between socialism and capitalism. I don't mind that type of stuff. I think there needs to be certain things provided for certain people. But where I say that capitalism can be the death of us is, you're talking about how China builds electrical grids, right? And how most of the electrical grids here were made by China. Who was the dumb nigga who made that deal? Because we've been in fucking arguments. We have been in conflicts with them for decades upon decades upon decades upon decades. Why would you not see that and be like, we can't let our enemies help build our infrastructure? But they knew that, and they did it anyway to make the quick dollar.
Arrogance. What they gonna do? We're the greatest. Can't nobody mess with us. Greatest nation, and it's just not the truth. But this goes deep. You know, I don't know how far you want to go down this rabbit hole, because me personally, I think it's them versus us. And what I mean by that is, I think all these boundaries, all these country titles and all that, I think that's for us. I think these people up there at those elite levels, I think that they're cool. And I think at some point it's going to be a mass deletion. They're going to be all right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
But the way it looks like, you know, this is some kind of game of Monopoly or something. But when you look at it, it's like, all right, we really that smart. Why did we make this deal? You know, this is not right. But in their eyes, it's perfect. It looks like, oh, well, we kind of messed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, look at Trump's
know?
biggest enemies when he was running. He couldn't stand the Clintons. But how many pictures have we seen of them kicking it together?
No, that's a fact.
You see, so
I mean, and you were talking about mass deletions, right? So when you're talking about that, how do you feel about Biden spending, what is it, millions of dollars on fresh Coke vials and clean needles for drug addicts? So I'm in the middle of that. I think on the front page of it, it looks bad. But I'm somebody who truly thinks that all drugs should be legalized.
Well, first of all, the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, Seattle, there ain't too many niggas there, period. Let's just be real. Like,
fact,
it's not too many niggas there. In fact,
those crack vials are going into storage.
Right.
You know?
Well, it's going to white people. That's another thing that look, I'm from Buffalo, and what people won't tell you, and I grew up like watching my brother bag crack right in front of my face. If crack in America, the sales of crack was based on black people, they wouldn't even sell it here.
That's true. We're only 13% of the population.
Yeah, and then lower of us that's on crack enough to make people money.
Yeah.
White people take that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just them Hollywood folks, they got all these movies going on. They got all these stories going on where they want the face of crack to be us.
Yeah.
But in reality, that we're not the face of crack. That's one thing of it. Second thing of it, the part that offended me by it, because there's a lot of countries where the drugs well, Venezuela, I believe the drugs there are legal, and they don't have as many problems with drugs that we have here.
Yes.
You know, but the one thing I will say that did offend me about that is this Brandon hasn't really done anything for the black community at all. And it's like, okay, this is one of the first things we hear about is you doing that.
That not part, a good look.
Yeah, that part right there offends me.
Yeah.
You know, the other stuff is just like, okay, well, whatever, man. You know, but I didn't vote for president, so I don't.
I feel you. But, you know, I mean, even if you don't vote, you're still just allowed to have your opinion on a YouTube channel. You feel me?
Right. I voted for everything but president. I voted for the judges.
Smart.
I voted for senators. I vote for my local stuff.
That's the best way to do it because, I mean, if you want to really talk about it, the tippy top of that shit is pretty much rigged anyway.
I believe so. And
you know what I mean? To a certain level, it kind of is. You really just got to pay attention to local government shit. And even with that, I'm bad. I'm lazy as fuck. You know what I mean? It wasn't until fucking Donald Trump that I started like really looking into like, who is my local councilman?
Right.
You know what I mean? What district am I in?
You said till Donald Trump. Well, the thing about it is, I didn't see a viable option for me. And I'm not one of those people, not to offend anybody who wouldn't vote for president, but for me and what I believed in, I felt if I voted for either one of them, I would be sheep because neither one of them were saying the right things. Biden was just like, let's just get Trump out of here, COVID. And it's like, all right, what are you going to do for the black community? Let's just not worry about that. First, let's worry about Donald Trump, right? And then another thing that they took away from Donald Trump is no one gives this guy the credit of the vaccine under his administration anymore. It's all just, oh, you fucked this country up with COVID. And I remember Kamala Harris, who was probably the worst vice president we've ever seen. I remember Kamala Harris was like, something about she not taking the vaccine because of Trump. She don't trust it. Now it's like everybody take the vaccine. This shit is all fake and phony, man.
Yeah, I mean they're all friends with each other, bro.
It's all fake and phony.
Elite. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if Trump and fucking Biden are having a drink right now.
Maybe not. It ain't gonna be on camera, but
not on camera.
I don't think they most
in an underground bunker while they're fucking a bunch of orphan children. I would assume so. You know, but let's not talk about the truth.
Right? You're not. See, hey man, I'm almost a YouTuber as much as I'm a comedian now, and
I feel you,
YouTuber wants the truth. That's what they want to hear. You know what I mean? They don't really necessarily hear that. Like you'll get laughed out of a comment section, like being like, "Oh, Biden is an answer, Trump, puke." And it's like Facebook, all that shit is cute. You know, Twitter is kind of in the middle, but YouTube in particular, they will laugh you off of there on that, you know.
Well, I think also too, I think YouTube is definitely like kind of a home of unique voices, and you're allowed to have one. Like I think that's the whole thing with like Twitter. Facebook is just a propaganda machine.
Oh yeah.
Already. That shit is way done. But Twitter is more just like a gang mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where if you're in a certain circle in the algorithm, that gang mentality will take you down for whatever it may be. But I would say YouTube, I think because so much of it is truly creating things. It's not just writing hot takes about shit. You know what I mean? That you have people that will buy into your view as long as you have passion about it. And you don't even need facts. I mean, yes, the best people have facts.
You're right.
But you don't even need facts. You just need true passion. There's a lot of all those other social media sites they're kind of like they fake passion. And then everybody else continues to fake passion. That's all Twitter is.
No, that's very true. Well, the thing about YouTube is it's more of a longer it has more of a longer segment than these other places. Like Twitter, you only have a certain amount of characters.
Yeah.
You know, TikTok is slowly trying to become YouTube, but you're only seeing somebody for up to a minute. You know what I'm saying? So it's like YouTube, you literally can be watching the same person, you know, put out 3 different 10-minute videos a day.
Yeah.
Then you go on a live stream with them, can talk to them, connect with them right there. That's why people put the super chats up there so you can see them, and it's like, hey, I'm donating to you. Like, you and this is not because I have a following on YouTube, but it's because I have a following on YouTube. In my opinion, YouTube is more interactive. Like, if I could start all over again and you say I'm gonna give you 10,000 subs on any one of these platforms that you choose, I would still choose YouTube. Yeah. Because I've seen people make more money from it. Yeah. I've seen I have my favorite YouTubers, and it's just it's more interaction with them on YouTube than the other platforms. And it's like 10,000 YouTube subs is not the same as 10,000 Instagram subs.
No,
at all.
no. Like 10,000 YouTube subs, especially depending on what type of YouTube you do, too, is like that's 10,000 real people that are sitting there and listening to the things that you say all the time.
Right.
And they feel like an emotional connection with you. It's not simply that you're in their scrolling range. You know what I mean? I think that's a big thing. Like YouTube by far is definitely like the most valuable type of social media, I think, because like you're saying, it's a lot more like long form. So you really get to see how people feel. All the other ones are kind of about like a quick fix. You know, it's like I say something outrageous and now I get to do whatever the fuck I want to do. You know, so you don't even really know how people feel. You get to know how people feel when you stay around them for a little while.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And that's why I say it's more for the authenticity. Because
absolutely.
If you don't, I know a lot of people that's flourishing in Hollywood, they wouldn't make it in YouTube because it's like it's like, especially blacks, because it's and blacks to be really successful in Hollywood, you almost have to go against your blackness.
Yeah, you have to take away a part of yourself.
Right.
Not for everybody, but for a very, very large amount of people. You have to tone yourself down. You know, it's we've seen it.
Yeah, and they will put up a YouTube video, think it's gonna do something, and somebody on YouTube be like, "Who is this house Negro?"
Yeah,
like you know what I mean.
So you know, I guess to piggyback off that, where do you see YouTube going in like the next decade?
Well, I think out of all the platforms, not because I have a following on YouTube, but because I have a following on YouTube.
yeah.
I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be more important than all the other platforms, because right now they only have cable for the boomers. That's the only reason, and to squeeze the money out.
Yes.
YouTube is the only platform out of all of these platforms that you have all of that on one platform. Like, for example, they even have the community tab. That's sort of like your Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can and Instagram. You can share your pictures on there. Stuff like that. They even have stories now, right? So take all that away and let's go to TV. They have YouTube TV.
Yeah.
To where you can go on there, I believe it's $20 a month, and get most of the channels from Hollywood on there.
They have YouTube Music.
Music.
That's what I use as my platform instead of Spotify or anything, to like listen to all the hottest albums and everything. Not only that, but they have all the YouTube videos, like audio version, not all of them, but like, let's say you're listening to some cool ass mix by like a DJ and they have their own YouTube channel and they put shit up there. You can find that through YouTube Music.
Right. That's a good question. So I'm just going to say, and this is just my opinion, but I'm going to say YouTube is going to end up beating all of these platforms and being the main platform because of how flexible it is. Like, I also think that it's also going to be a mass saturation of it. Because, okay, I was fucking this teacher, right? And, you know, at this time, I didn't really have too many subscribers. She wasn't like trying to, maybe she was, but I didn't really look at her trying to disencourage me. But she was like, you know, it's going to be hard to blow up on there, because she was like, when I ask my kids what they want to be when they grow up, no one says movie star or anything like that. It's all YouTube.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a mass saturation where it becomes like Facebook, where everybody just has a YouTube page and it don't really like
blow up for a lot of people.
Right. But they still have it, and it's just something that everyone has.
But my whole thing is, I feel as someone who, you know, is creating YouTube stuff right now and everything, is I feel like there's always been that kind of vibe of YouTube is oversaturated. I feel like that narrative has been told for such a long time. Like after like 2007 when it first came out, after about like 3 years when they had like, you know, people doing sketches on there and shit like that, I feel like everybody that I would talk to back in the day would be like, oh, YouTube's done. Like, you can try, but it's not going to happen. But then people keep blowing up on it. It keeps on morphing. It keeps on changing. So what are some ways you think that people can get through that possible oversaturation in the future?
Well, first of all, I'm just going to tell you like this. That oversaturation is, I get it. It's certain people that push that because A, they don't think that they can do it, or B, they're already doing it and don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell y'all, YouTube is oversaturated. All right. It's oversaturated. But don't ever listen to that.
Yeah.
It's 8 billion people in this world, man. You know, and it's like, when you start looking at your analytics, some of it be from the U.S., some of it be from Africa, some of it has a much further reach than American TV.
I got niggas in Bangladesh who love me.
Right,
I don't know
right.
why. I mean,
and I'm gonna tell you just like this.
No subtitles.
I'm gonna tell you to you personally, to anybody that's watching, that's thinking about doing YouTube. I've heard this a lot, and I didn't get it till recently. Well, not recently. I got it about 9 months ago, but I get it now. If you want to break out on YouTube, like I right now I'm at what 11,300 subs. That's nothing to me now. Like I'm trying to get to 50,000.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's when I can really be like, yo, this full time. Fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you really have to concentrate on making good content. Yeah, you know, like I was relating this to comedy earlier. You know, Kwame Brown, it's almost like he's a headliner comic, and he gives me a shout out, letting me open for him. You see what I'm saying?
He put you on as a feature.
Right. So it's like, he wouldn't have did that if I didn't have good content. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. If I was just like, I know there's tons of people making content about this guy. You see people with the lighting all messed up, and it's like, you see people trying to even like copy off of some of the stuff I'm doing. Hey, yo, Hassan Campbell, I'm gonna really fuck you up. And it's like, dude, your lighting is all messed up. You don't have a mic. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not as simple as it looks. You know what I mean? The video be too long, then it might be too short. You know what I'm saying? So the simplest way I can tell somebody on how to break out on YouTube is really focus on how, the number one question should be, how can I make the best content I could possibly make? Because I also tell you this, it only take one video. And I even got that video yet. When you get that one, you could get more subs than me overnight if you just got that one video that gets you 100,000 subs.
I've seen it.
Overnight, you have more subs than me. Just take one video.
Bro, there's
one video.
You know what's crazy is I know that's true, because how many times have we watched, you know, some video that has like 3 million fucking views on it, right? And then you go to the person's channel and they only have like 3 videos. Right. That was just one video that popped off, and they just never did anything after that. And it's like, wow, they have anything, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of subs, and they're not doing anything with it, but they got it.
They didn't have anything. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, man, this is one dude that I forgot what it's called, but he has a gangbang channel, and he was creating documentaries about the different wars.
Okay,
And he had a video.
Like, been watching too much porn. Yeah, I was like, this nigga. I'm like, okay.
Well,
nah, go on.
No, I'll tell you like this. I am a YouTube fanatic. You gotta be that to blow up on there. I study so much different content. I'm a cord cutter. I don't really watch TV. The stuff I get off of TV has to make it into a YouTube algorithm. And then I'm like, oh shit, this is happening on TV. I don't even watch TV no more, man.
Wow. Okay.
Straight up, I wake up to my favorite YouTubers, go to sleep, check on my favorite YouTubers.
I'm the same. I'm pretty much the same way. I mean, I watch TV because I'm kind of a fanatic. Like, I still like narrative stories and shit like that. But 90% of the time, bro, it's fucking like Vlad TV is on or some shit. They're doing a breakdown of like old school, you know, New York City fucking goons or something like that. That I'm watching. You know, Hip Hop Uncensored. I'm watching. You know, all this different types of shit. So that's what I wake up to. That's what I go to bed to.
Yep.
You know, and then I fit in the Netflix binges in between, you know, on occasion.
I have a girl come around, then I'll be like, all right, what do you got on Netflix? I got an account. I don't even really use it, though. You know what I mean?
I feel you, man.
But I'm saying that to say, I mean, it was one guy that I think he did a video, the 60s versus the A-Tray Gangsta Crips. That shit took off, and he got like 10 million views. He only has 5 videos like that, right?
Wow.
And he stopped making videos. You know what happened? It's like 10 other pages that copied his formula off that, and they all eaten.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Because he stopped.
Because he stopped. So now the clientele's there.
Yeah, the clientele's there.
The demand is there.
He popped it wide open.
Yep.
And other cats that knew the stories, maybe he didn't have all the other stories, because there's so many different gang wars that they mostly focused on LA. So someone that actually knew the gang wars in LA was like, okay, I'm gonna go elaborate on this more, use this guy's format, and now I'm getting all the traffic. And that's just how it works. And it's like, I'm saying that to say, sometimes someone may have a video and don't have nothing after that. You know what I'm saying? So
I feel you, man. It's all about making good content. I mean, as somebody who watches like tons of YouTube videos about how to make a successful YouTube channel, that is always number one. Just keep making videos or make the best content that you can. That's always number one. And then they tell you a bunch of other shit.
Yep.
So what Moxie's telling you is very true. Number one, also too, I know we gotta wrap up quick because you got a show and everything. I want to ask you this quick question because we were talking about the ladies and everything, and there's a lot of things happening in social media right now. What do you think about the Kanye Kim K situation?
Part of me want to say that this is for his next album.
Yeah.
Part of me want to say that this is for his next album, but also, I mean, I don't know about you. I've been in love before, but I have not been in love with a following that Kanye or heartbroken.
Yeah,
I've not been heartbroken off of during a following that Kanye is having.
Gotcha.
He has a huge following. So if this is real, which I don't necessarily think that it might be real, because something like this always happens with him in different forms before an album comes out with him.
Definitely,
I've seen a pattern of that. And I think we're just seeing a man having a serious heartbreak in front of the world. I think it kind of balanced itself out because I don't think Kanye is as crazy as everybody wants to make him out to be.
Nah, I don't think he is either. I think he just kind of has he has outbursts sometimes. Like he has times where he gets into kind of more manic episodes and it makes it seem like this nigga's nuts all the time.
Right. You can watch his Drink Champs interview. That's one of the greatest interviews I've ever seen on Drink Champs. That was great. But we just watching this man have a mental breakdown, or and I even want to say mental breakdown. He's heartbroken. But most of these like TMZ, most of these media outlets, they are all cool with the Kardashian family.
Of course, they spin it in every way.
They work together. So yeah, it's making him look a certain type of way. And most of America, especially white America, they don't like seeing someone speak out that's black like that anyway.
Yeah.
And successful, they hate that. And it's like some dude got mad at me the other day because he was like, Kanye West's next album is only gonna sell 2 copies. And it's like, look, dude, that's how you want it to be. That's not how it really is.
That is the biggest lie I've ever heard in my fucking life.
He got mad at me, man. Hey, calm down. It's like, dude, I just said I disagree with you.
Yeah.
What do you mean, calm down? Nobody, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, that's what you get from a lot of the media is they put out there the way they want it to be, not how necessarily it is. The dude, I've never met Kanye and had a sit down with him. If I spent a whole day with Kanye, I would be able to tell you whether this man is legitimately crazy or if this is an act. From what I'm seeing, it's a lot of it is an act, if you ask me.
I think there's some of it that's an act. I think it's kind of a mixture. You know what I mean? Like you were saying that he gets like this with his when he starts putting albums and everything, putting albums out. That's definitely true. But I think it's a mixture. I think he does play on things, but I think the fact that, he's putting out an album and he's acting this way, sure, he might be pushing some shit, but also he might just be stressed out from making another album. I know how I get when I'm making things all the time and I'm always in this rush. And a lot of times, like, yes, he is Kanye West, but you got to think about how he came up. He went from child prodigy of music to getting into hip hop and everybody telling him he's not shit and, oh, you're a great producer, but you got to stay in this lane. So he's come from a time of always like having to prove people wrong. And now he's in this winner's circle that he kind of can't get out of. Like, he's so popular now that no matter what he's going to sell. But you know how it is. When you have certain traumas in your life, you're always kind of there. You live in this shit,
This man is 44, 45, got 15 to 24-year-olds dressing like him.
Yes.
In the most awkward way.
Yep.
And the reason why I say, to me, this is an act and just part of his brand is, if you remember how all this started, he the one that broke up with Kim.
Yep.
He the one that said, I don't want to deal with you. You better not fuck with my kids. All of that. It's over. He the one that did it. Then you're telling me a month after this, oh, I miss you, Kim, blah, 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 blah.
But we've all met dudes like that, though. We're like, bitch, I'm out. I don't give a fuck. Oh, fuck, whatever.
To the point where he going?
Maybe
he's
not
going
that
pretty
far,
far,
but
man. He went and brought the house next door to her, but then he's like, yo, I brought the house next to my kids. And it's like, if you would have did that and kept it like that after breaking up with her, then I see it not being a game. But then the fact that you actually trying to get her back, Man, yeah. I'm not even gonna say he just need to let that girl go on, because it's like, to me, I just think it's a game.
Yeah.
The media use it to make us look bad. And I'm not blaming everything on the media, but they use some of these dudes and this, if you want to call it buffoonery, to like put it on us. And you know, I just wish that's why I think it's an act. I think I wish that it would be more in the background than what it is. But I pay it no mind. I don't.
Well, I mean, you know, that's how it is nowadays. I think, you know, everybody's, you know, shit is out on Front Street, you know, nowadays with social media and all that stuff. So I guess on the final words for that, I'll just say, you know, Kanye, because I'm sure you're watching this. Feel better, my dude. Get your head right. Talk to a therapist. Do whatever the fuck you gotta do. And I hope that album is fucking fire. Moxy, you got anything to say to Kanye specifically?
Hey man, throw me on your next album.
There we go. There we go. All right, guys. This has been Drop Give Me 20 with Phil Risden. I am Phil Risden. Please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment on that bitch too. All right. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, you can find it on all podcast platforms. Make sure you give me a nice 5-star review and a little bit of comment in there too. I want to know how you guys feel. This shit is for you. I mean, it's not for you. It's for me, but it's mostly for you. All right. I love you. Peace out.